Welcome to literary and jury charge practice. Let's get started. Ready? Okay, another rule or two we have is we'll try to keep one person speaking at a time. If I interrupt you unnecessarily, I'm sure your attorney, Mr. Wilson, here will say something, and I will ask that you not interrupt me when I'm speaking. And the reason for that is not because we are so formal, but because the court reporter needs to take down every word of what we're saying and prepare a transcript of what we're saying today. And that transcript won't be clear if we're kind of talking all over each other and there are half sentences and answers that are beginning. So we'll try to speak one at a time. And it's normal for us to mess up on that sometimes. Please don't be offended if I ask you to repeat something or to wait for a moment. Another rule we have is that we always want verbal responses. In normal conversation, it is common to shake our heads or nod our heads for yes or no. In the deposition room, if you mean yes, I want you to say yes. If you mean no, I want you to say no. Because, again, the court reporter can't take down the shake of the head or the nod of the head, and it would be unclear in the transcript. And the same goes for these words, these sounds that we make in normal conversation. We should be warmed up now, and let's do a little literary material now. And this is an article regarding camping. So let's give it a try. Ready? Perhaps you like the concept of communing with nature, but sleeping in a tent is not your idea of fun. Here are some options to consider. Cabins. Cabins, along with their semi-permanent cousins, known as yurts, are available in places ranging from commercial RV resorts to state parks. Glamping. Options for glamping, a mash-up of glamour and camping, range from luxury safari-style tents to thoroughly remodeled vintage trailers, such as those at Flying Flags RV Resort. Services. Like the idea of staying in a camping trailer, but don't want to deal with the hassles? Consider service providers that will deliver a trailer to your campsite and set it up for you. Vans. Like a turtle carrying its house on its back, modern van-based RVs come with all the comforts of home. To camp farther off the beaten path, look into the four-wheel drive vans built by Fresno's Sports Mobile West. I know there were some challenging words in there. Let's see. We had, well, for one, yurts, and that's Y-U-R-T-S. Yurts. Evidently, it's along the lines of a cabin. Commercial. Glamping, which I don't know if that's really a word or not. A mashup of glamour and camping. Luxury safari style tents. That's what you get when you go glamping. All right. Well, let's try some jury charge. Ready? Members of the jury, there is the second defense here that Joseph Briggs was incompetent and that he was easily influenced. There are a great many men who are easily influenced, and a great many men that nobody can influence, but they are all capable of doing business unless they are so incompetent that they do not understand the nature of the transaction. Men who are easily influenced and have money generally lose it, and the public and those who deal with them are not bound to be their guardians if they deal in good faith. If Mr. Foster paid this money in good faith to Mr. Briggs, he is entitled to recover it unless Mr. Briggs was so incompetent that he didn't understand the nature of the transaction and didn't know anything about what he was doing. If he had a reasonable acquaintance with the nature of borrowing money and giving a note for it, he could handle his own business and be bound by it until he was declared incompetent by some proper court and put under guardianship. All right, let's see. We had incompetent, influence, guardians, acquaintance, guardianship. All right, some words to practice. Let's get back to some camping ideas. And these are fun activities to do while you're camping. Ready? Get crafty. Bring supplies for painting small stones or making sand candles. Sing along. Print out the words to your favorite camp songs and create songbooks for your group. Scavenger hunt. Add a modern twist. Instead of collecting the items, players can use their cell phone cameras to take photos to show the judges. Take a hike. Stop by the Visitors Center at state and national parks to pick up a trail map. Row, row, row. Paddling a kayak or a canoe is a great way to see the natural world from a different perspective. Play games. Here's a chance to pull out the playing cards or board games that rarely get used at home. Try the Ungame game, which uses cards containing both fun and questions to help stimulate conversation. You'll be surprised at what people will share around a campfire. Sounds like fun. All right, back to our jury charge. A little more jury charge practice. Now that we're familiar with some of the words in this jury charge, let me see if there doesn't look like there are any other challenging words that you haven't already heard. Okay, ready? Here we go. Now, was he in such mental condition at the time that he gave this note as not to be capable of understanding the nature of the transaction? It does not make any difference if he was afterwards declared incompetent. The examination that was mentioned here was after the date of the transaction and would not affect any date before that time. The fact that a man is declared incompetent today by a court does not show that he was incompetent yesterday or at any time previous. It is for you to say here now as a jury on the evidence presented to you whether Joseph Briggs was at the time he accepted money from Harry Foster in such a disturbed mental condition that he didn't understand the nature of the transaction. Let's see. Again, I don't think there were any additional particularly challenging words. Let me see. We had transaction, incompetent, examination, declared, disturbed. All right. Well, that will conclude our literary and jury charge practice.